Welcome to episode 109 and a season 5 finale of the Questlore series One Small Favour. To start this quest you must have completed Rune Mysteries, Druidic Ritual, Jungle Potion and Shiloh Village. Yanni Salika asks you for one small favour, to get a piece of red mahogany from a nearby jungle forester. The jungle forester would love to give you a piece of red mahogany but first needs their axe sharpened. Brian in Port Sarim will sharpen it if you can get Aggie the Witch to be a character witness for his friend who got into a brawl and risks going to prison. Aggie's apprentice, Jimmy the Chisel, has disappeared and she would like you to look for him first. You find him imprisoned at the Ham hideout and Johannes Ulsbrecht will release him if you can get a month's supplies of chicken. Farmer Fred, who is related to Jimmy, hasn't got enough chickens, so you go to Seth Groats, who first needs 5 chicken cages. These can be made by Horvik in Barrock, but only after you give him 3 steel bars that Seth owed him for the plough being fixed. Unfortunately, Horvik is feeling sick and he also needs 5 pigeon cages. You talk to the apothecary, who hands you a herbal tincture, but when he's about to pass you the breathing salts, he accidentally drops the airtight pot that they're in. To get a new one made, he recommends talking to Tassie Slipcast at Barbarian Village, but she is currently too busy paying off a loan to Hammerspike Stoutbeard. The interest on the loan prevents her from being able to pay it off. Hammerspike is considering changing his gangster ways and becoming a druid. So you speak to Samfu, who will consider it if you first give a Guffix rest to Captain Bleemage on top of White Wolf Mountain, and also arrange for him to visit the ogres in the Feldip Hills in the hopes of spreading the ways of Guffix. To make the tea, you put hot water in a cup and add 2 Guam, 1 Marantil and 1 Haralander, making a Guffix rest, which you hand to the gnome. For him to be able to make the journey, he needs a light rope system made by Arhane in Catherby. Arhane can give you the rope system if you get a weather report from the Seers in Seers Village. Fantuti Fanstui Farsight is concerned with a local girl named Petra who has disappeared recently. He thinks that she may be in a cave with creatures. In the Goblin Cave's northeastern section, you find a sculpture in the shape of a human. When you examine the belt, it mentions Wizard Crompety. To break Petra out of the rock, you need iron oxide from Port Khazad. Tyndale Marchant hasn't slept well in a long time and he hands you a very poor looking mattress. He wants it to be filled with chompy bird feathers, so he directs you to Rance. Rance hasn't been able to catch any chompies recently because someone nearby has been making a lot of noise. You head west and find Normadium Alvafrim. He's working on extending the glider network to include Feldip Hills, but the lights need fixing. In each landing light you search and find a gem which you cut and place. These include jades, topaz, opals and sapphires. Now that you've fixed the 8 landing lights with the correct gems, they can turn on. Having done one small favour for Normadium Alvafrim by concluding the construction, you can return to Rance, who hands you the comfy mattress, which you give to Tyndall Marchant in exchange for the iron oxide. Wizard Crompety accepts the iron oxide for an animate rock scroll. Next to the human-looking sculpture, you read the animate rock spell, but accidentally target it in the wrong direction and a Slagolith comes to life. Once defeated, you recast the spell and speak to Petrified, who lets the Seers know that she's fine. Unfortunately, Fantuti Fanstui Farsight can't make a prediction of the weather at the moment because the weather vane is broken, so you climb upstairs to the roof and hit the weather vane with a hammer, getting 3 broken parts. You then go to an anvil and mend them with a bronze, an iron and a steel bar. The Seer gives you the weather report and Arhane gives a rope system to Captain Bleedmage on top of the White Wolf Mountain, unlocking glides to the Feldip Hills. Samfu says that the dwarf can train as an initiate if he would like, and he can see the ogres now if he wants. Hammerspike changed his mind about wanting to become a druid and doesn't live alone, so you kill his gang members, and now he says that he will leave Tassie alone. Tassie Slipcast gives you some clay and teaches you how to spin a pot lid, which you then fire in the pottery oven. You give the airtight pot to the apothecary and he puts some breathing salts in it. Then you hand Horvik the herbal tincture and the breathing salts, which make him feel much better, and you hand him the pigeon cages, which he transforms into chicken cages. These are given to Seth Groats, who supplies the chickens, and Johannes Ulsbrecht of the Hamhide frees Jimmy the Chisel. Aggie confirms that Jimmy has returned and she agrees to be a character witness for Brian's friend. Ryan says that his friend actually wandered off into the wilderness and he asks you if you can go get him, but then he says he's just kidding and hands you the sharpened axe. This is given to the jungle forester for the red mahogany log, and finally you complete the one small favour for Yanni Salika. Completing this quest is a requirement for King's Ransom and Swan Song. Thank you very much for watching Season 5 of the Quest Lore series. Join me next time in Season 6, where I'll explain the lore behind A Soul's Bane.